Hello, welcome back to my channel. So to start this look, I'm going to be using a mineral infused primer from e.l.f. Just going to lay this down all over my face to make sure that my makeup doesn't set into any lines or crease or start to wear throughout the day. And then this is an eyelid primer from NYX that I'm using on my lids and underneath my eyes for my concealer. I've recently started using this Stay Matte foundation from Rimmel. It's a mousse foundation and I really like the formula. It's super thick though, so today I'm going to be mixing it with an illuminator just to kind of give it a little bit more sheen and then to make it a little bit easier to spread around on my face. So go ahead and apply that with a buffing brush from Real Techniques, and I dab it on first to apply the color and then start to use buffing motions to really even it out. Since the foundation is so full coverage, I don't want to put a bunch of concealer on top of it to highlight, so I'm just going to be using this MAC Prep and Prime highlighting pen. The formula is a little bit sheerer than a full coverage concealer, and it still does bring a lot of light and dimension back to the face. And then I'm just blending that out with a damp beauty sponge. I'm setting the concealer in place with this highlighting powder from a NYX Duo. This is a new product that I picked up. It's from NYX. It's a foundation stick. This is a mineral foundation. So I'm using it for contouring and it is so easy to use. The formula is super creamy. You can just draw it right on. So I'm just putting it down the hollows of my cheeks, on my jawline, on my chin, down the sides of my nose, and up on my temples. So you can watch how this really is just super easy to blend in and gives a really nice, natural looking contour. I'm using the same foundation brush. I'm just getting it wet with a little bit of setting spray so I can start to blend out the foundation that I'm using for the contour. When blending out the cheek contour, you want to try and blend upwards instead of down because you want it to kind of lift. You don't want it to be pulling your face down. And then I'm taking the sponge from the highlighter to just blend out the rest of the contour lines, especially down the sides of the nose, just where you want it to be super subtle. I'm going to move on to filling in my brows. I'm using brow powder today to do this, and I do have a full brow routine video if you want to check that out. I'm using a cream blush from NYX. This is an orange color. I'm just going to dab that on the apples of my cheeks and blend upwards towards my hairline. I'm using a shimmery pink cream eyeshadow. It's a Maybelline Color Tattoo, just as my eyelid primer. And on top of that, I'm going to be mixing these two sort of shimmery beige colors. It's from the Lorac palette that I got a while ago. I'm just going to use that as a transition color right above the crease. Next, I'm going to be using this darker pink color, the light pink from this BH Cosmetics palette. I'm using that on a fluffy blending brush. Just going to deposit most of the color at the outer corner of my eye and then pull it up and across the crease. The next color I'm using is the purple right in between those two pink colors. I'm just using a flat shader brush and just pressing this into the outer V. And I'm going back with the original blending brush just to start to diffuse the color. I'm using a shimmery white from the BH Cosmetics palette to highlight my brow bone. In the middle of each eyelid, I'm putting down a little bit of this cream eyeshadow. It's a really shimmery pink, and I'm just using that to adhere this loose pigment. This is a champagne color that's just going to add a lot of shimmer to the top of the lid. This is actually a shimmery wine-colored blush, but I'm using it on a pointed blending brush just to smoke out my lower lash line. I'm going to line my upper and lower waterline with this Too Faced waterproof gel slash pencil liner. Taking this little smudging brush and just pulling a tiny bit of the eyeliner and winging it out from my waterline. And then just brush on a bit of this dusty pink blush. I'm just going to keep layering that until I get the desired amount of color. And as always, I'm going to set and blend with a translucent setting powder. Next up is waterproof mascara for my upper and lower lashes. So the real star of the show today is going to be the lip color. So this is a super intense bubblegum pink, and it is a matte finish, so once it dries, it is there to stay. I'm going to go ahead and line my entire lip with this and make sure everything is nice and filled in, and then just want to sit for a minute and let that dry before really sticking your lips back together because it can pull the color. Now I'm just adding a little bit of sheer highlighter in a horseshoe shape around my eye. And to set my brows, I'm just using a little bit of brow gel from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Okay, and I just couldn't help myself. I have to contour a little bit more, so I'm just using a big fluffy brush. So it's going to be really subtle still, but just give a little bit more definition underneath my cheekbone and around my temples. And then just setting everything with NYX it's a Stay Matte setting spray. And here's the finished look. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.